Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi, it's Foundations Friday, and we're here to see if you have a moment to talk about necromancy. But before we get into all that, I'm sure you know that the 5-year foundation set in Standard is going to change a lot of things, not just in Standard, but in particular for budget and free-to-play players. What you may not know is you can make a big impact around here by making a funding choice through our Patreon. Whether you're just helping keep the lights on every month, or you're making contributions towards specific content or hardware upgrades, just know all the Patreon funding goes back into the community. Now, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. That's right, folks. The undead have been part of Magic the Gathering really since the very beginning, going back to Sengir Vampire. And there's really no reason that these should not be part of your arsenal of decks right now. All you really need to do is build the deck, because you have more than you think you do. Alright, so it turns out the Foundation's starter decks are pretty generous when it comes to the undead minions of your everyday necromancer. The mainstays, of course, are going to be those vampires, zombies, and skeletons. And, well, as you can see, when you just filter those out, you've got enough undead cards as well as some good play-around staples to go in the deck. We're about 50% over what we need. So we can be a little bit more selective. When you do counts on this, and when you look at your collection, all you really have to do is type in the keyword, and it'll filter out what's going on with your vampires. And for this collection, we've got 15 vampires, 19 zombies, and 7 skeletons. As far as relevant cards. And really what makes a lot of this is the Death Baron that comes in your starter collection. Of course, he cares about skeletons and zombies, not so much about vampires. So if I'm looking to cut something, it probably is going to be some of those vampire cards. And that does a couple things for us. First off, we can drop the multicolor stuff if we want to. And I think that's a great place to start. High Society Hunter is great, but it's not going to do a lot. On the other hand, the Vengeful Blood Witch and the Vampire Nighthawk are strong enough cards that, despite them not necessarily being skeletons or zombies, are probably worth some consideration here. But the rest of the zombies, I believe we are going to cut for the moment. And then, as you can see, that puts us just 8 cards away from having a proper deck. By leaning into the zombies build, it really gives us a very simple path to upgrade, just by picking up the appropriately named zombies pack out of the Foundation's Jump In. This gives you access to another Zul Ashur Lich Lord or Midnight Reaper. And the card that really puts this deck over the top is the Liliana Dreadhorde General. You've got a 20% chance of upgrade, or of course you might just open this randomly out of one of your packs, or an ICR upgrade. A 6 mana, 6 loyalty Liliana Planeswalker that is just built around zombies and sacrificing creatures is really what will make this deck hum. I don't know that I would consider upgrading this particular deck without the Liliana to do so. However, that having been said, I don't know that Liliana is necessarily worth a wild card just to build the zombie deck. I took the liberty of adjusting the land down to 23. With this curve, that's probably going to be about right. And I set the type filter to creature to pull all my creatures up here. That is actually, I believe, 27 creatures, which is going to be about right for us. However, what we have is a little too much going on in non-creature spells. So we're going to focus on making some cuts there. Tribute to Hunger is a good removal piece, but honestly, the life gain functionality doesn't really do a whole lot for us. That feels like a pretty even cut. Offer of Immortality is kind of pseudo removal or saving our creature. With zombies, we're not really worried about saving our creatures because we can just pull them back. So I think this is another good cut. And then we're just really down to 4 here. Undying Malice seems very good. Cemetery Recruitment seems very good. Eaten Alive as straight up removal feels a little clunky. And I'm not sure we need Stab and Moment of Craving, so I think we're going to cut the 2 Moment of Craving here. I do like Deadly Plot. It's just a straight up removal piece, and maybe it's just better than Eaten Alive, but what I'm going to do is split the difference here and test that and then decide which one I like better. So that's it, guys. That gets us down to a very easy 60 card deck using only cards from the Foundation starters. Of course, as your collection evolves, even with just free packs and things like that, your collection is going to look different, and you might take this same line of thought in a very different direction, and you should feel free to do so, because that is more than likely the correct choice. What do you say we throw the deck up against Sparky and just see how it functions? Not a bad opener. We'll keep this, see what it'll do for us. That makes for a very nice turn 3 over the Crow Dark Tidings. Burning a Pacifism pretty early. We'll end up just sacrificing that to an effect, I'm sure, at some point. I think we want to go wide here rather than leaning directly in on the Nighthawk. We'll just have to be satisfied with getting with the Burglar Bat. Or excuse me, Burglar Rat. Burglar Bat would be an entirely different genre. AK while the sun shines, am I right? Mostly in it for the draw the card there. A couple of good ones in there. At that point, I feel like we can go ahead and burn the Nighthawk. Oh, I forgot this doesn't actually have flying. It just looks like it has flying. So I mean, just as a proof of concept run, this feels like it's doing some things here for us, certainly. Do we want to do that? No, that feels like a trap. So we're pretty close to just winning out here very easily, which is the expected outcome when you go up against Sparky, but I think the deck definitely just proving itself. Yeah, at least conceptually, we can just block and bring back creatures and whatnot. We've got enough flyers and minutes that they can't really miss here.
And before we go, while every member of this community is important to me, I just wanted to take a moment and give a shout out to those patrons providing financial support and keeping the Stronghold from being a complete financial black hole. And of course, let me leave you with some suggestions for your next step here on the channel.